Hello, am I audible? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Just a minute. I'm just going to start the session.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
Yes, वापस. Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Okay, okay, okay. Shall we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Okay. Good morning to all our today's speaker and our esteemed participant. With great joy and immense exultation, I, Dr. Rupali Chaturvedi, feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all presented here on the second day of second session of Atal AICT sponsored FTP. Its title is Rejuvenating Teaching Skills and Life Skills Management. Today, I feel honored to introduce Dr. Deepak Kumar. Dr. Deepak Kumar has received his doctorate from the Department of English Language Education, EFL University, Hyderabad. His additional qualification include B.Ed, MPhil, and postgraduate certificate in the teaching of English PG CTE from the EFL University, Hyderabad. He has also done an advanced certificate course in methodology for TESOL from the University of Maryland, Baltimore country, USA. His areas of specialization include English language teaching and training, teaching methods and materials, classroom-based research, and soft skills and communication, among others. Now, may I invite Dr. Deepak Kumar to address our esteemed gathering. So, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for the introduction, and I welcome all the participants for the session. Uh, as the topic suggests, today we are going to discuss soft skills in communication. I would like to share my PPT so that you can see that, and we can have an interactive session. My screen is visible, madam. Can you see?
No, it's not visible, sir. Now it's visible. Now it's visible, sir.
Yes.
All the participants are requested to mute your audio, please.
Uh, yes, fine. It's good that you have muted your microphone. But, yes, madam. It will be better if the participants unmute, like mute
Yes,
the
yes,
microphone. Yeah.
yes. All participants are requested to please mute your audio.
Uh, am I audible?
Yes,
Can we start?
yes, yes. It's clear, clear.
Fine. Thank you. Uh,
Okay, sir.
uh, this is this is how we have. This is how I have structured my talk today, and today, in the next 1 hour, we are going to discuss. understand what soft skills are, we are going to understand what communication is. See, I have used the term understanding here. So a lot of definitions are there. We are aware of the definitions. So no, we will try to understand actually what soft skills are, what communication is. Uh, we'll also look at the relationship between soft skills and communication. And finally, the mechanisms of communication, different forms, barriers, and filters. It's good that you have muted your microphone, but I would like to make it a bit interactive. So when I ask a question, please unmute and you know respond to that. So and whenever you have a doubt, whenever in the presentation you want to ask a question, you can stop me anytime and ask. So there is no problem with that. Uh, so this is how I have structured my talk, and let's start with the soft skills. Uh, I'm sure that you all have heard the word soft skills. My question is, have you heard something like hard skills? Yes or no? No is also okay with me. So please respond. And this is going to be an interactive. So when I ask, please answer to that. Uh, so have you heard the word hard skills? Do you understand what they are? Yes. Yeah, fine. So it's better, as we have something like hard skills and we have soft skills. So it's better to understand soft skills as opposed to hard skills. We understand it better. So what happens? Hard skills, uh, when hard skills teach us what to do, soft skills tell us how to apply those hard skills in our day-to-day life in a specific environment. For example, hard skills, tell us how good you are at editing, how good you are as a computer programmer, how good a mechanical engineering you are. Whereas soft skills, if you look at the definitions, it's like they are like social graces, the way you interact with people in day-to-day life, the emotional traits, the cognitive traits you display with them, the communication abilities, the abilities to communicate through different channels like verbal, non-verbal, the visual channels, language skills do not need much explanation. As you know, they are like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Personal habits, self-confidence, stress management, all these things. So if we want to understand here the relationship between soft skills and communication, we can see in this sense, soft skills can be considered a superset, whereas communication is a subset of that superset. For example, if you look at the words which I have highlighted here, social graces, communication abilities, language skills, these all relate to communication skills. So we are in today in this presentation, we are going to look at the highlighted words also a bit in detail. So I hope that the difference between hard skills and soft skills are clear. Uh, uh, Hard skills are also easily measurable and quantifiable. Soft skills are not very easy to pinpoint. I'm not saying that soft skills cannot be measured or cannot be quantified. People need to know it's easy for the people to identify or pinpoint that how good editor you are, but it's difficult sometimes to measure how well you are managing your stress. Sometimes you maybe you are looking calm, you look cool, but maybe a lot of things are going on inside. So it's difficult to measure. You can say that hard skills are IQ and soft skills are EQ. This one more difference we all can keep in mind. Now, having differentiated between soft skills and hard skills, and having established the relationship between soft skills and communication, let's start with a very fundamental question: what communication is? And can I get at least one or two response in practical? What do you think? What is communication?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, communication is nothing but exchanging of words, like having a conversation.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the response. So communication is a kind of exchange of words, having conversation. Good response. Do you think that it's only the exchange of words, or do we exchange something more?
Yeah, we can also exchange like I talk or something like that.
I talk means you agree that we can communicate with the eyes also. Like it's not only the words. So
Like
fine.
I mean like gestures, like
Gesture,
sit there, like hand gestures or something.
the body language, the facial
Yeah.
expression. Uh, Fine. Okay. Good. See, there are certain questions which are very easy to answer in one sense and difficult to answer in another sense. For example, if I ask you a question, what is life or what is happiness? For example, what is happiness? Can you please, madam, tell me what happiness is in your opinion? For you, what is happiness?
Happiness is nothing but being overjoyed or overwhelmed. Like it is a feeling of a state where we are like more happy about it.
Good. So,
Over,
in your
yeah,
opinion, like when you are joyful, that is
yeah.
happiness. Can I get at least two, three responses, another responses? Like, can I know what happiness is according to others? For example, I can tell you that for me, happiness is spending time with my family. But you go happiness, for me, happiness is what I have got it. So it's like spending time with my family. So can you please tell me what happens in your opinion?
Good
Yes.
morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, this is Professor Rhythm from Amritsar College of Engineering and Technology.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
So, according to me, it's an abstract word,
Good.
and it can be said as the feeling of content when a person feels contented. It can be regarding anything. A person can feel contented with any of the aspects in life. So, that is, I think.
Good. Good. So as madam thinks that it's an abstract word, and it indicates that like happiness for me might be different. Happiness for me, for others might be different. What is happiness for you is might be like, so madam is saying that if somebody is contented, somebody is satisfied. So satisfaction can come, somebody is satisfied when he is able to spend time with family. Somebody is satisfied when he gets the success. Somebody is satisfied when he earns a lot of money in life. So the point I'm trying to make here is that there are certain questions which are easy to answer in one sense and difficult to answer in another sense, because if you talk about communication, to Uh, one is difficult to answer when one is immersed in communication, especially when everybody has his idea of what it is without having to define it. So, what we are going to do today is instead of trying to define what communication is, let's try to look at its components, several factors, and we will have a better idea of what communication is, and we all will agree for what basically communication means. Definitions, there are many. As somebody said in the beginning, it's kind of exchange of words, feelings, emotions, kind of thing. This is the basic definition, but is that enough? It's like, when somebody is immersed in communication, especially when you have your own idea of what it is, because there is miscommunication, there is wrong communication, there is like communication without words, those so many. So without having to define it, you have your own idea. So in the next half an hour, 40 minutes, what we are going to do is, instead of trying to define it, let's look at different components, and we will have a better idea. Let me ask you uh, a further question. Can you can you think of a situation where you think that communication is not happening? Means it's not happening at all. I repeat my question. Uh, you can think of a situation, or you look around yourself. Tell me. I'm going to make a list of what your answers. Tell me a situation where you think that communication is not happening. No communication at all. Yeah, please. I'm waiting for your response. Did Very good, man. Okay, meditation. I'm writing down your responses. Meditation. Any other? There are, you can think of many, like, when it's not, you think that no communication is happening that time, in that situation.
There is misunderstandings.
Misunderstanding. Yes, ma'am. I have noted down. So misunderstanding in that situation is not happening. Yes.
Yeah, when some opportunities are
Multiple
missed.
people,
Yes, ma'am.
multiple people doing conversation simultaneously.
So when there is a lot of noise, you want to say?
Yeah.
When there's a lot of noise, it's difficult, or maybe no communication, fine. Any other thing that you can make a long list, like when you think that it's not happening, no communication is happening that time.
When there is no trust.
Oh, when there is no trust, you think there is no communication? Like if you don't trust, let's say that you don't trust your if you don't trust your colleague, you think no. Good. Good. I have listed 4. Can I get 2, 3 more?
So when there is language barrier.
Language barrier, very good. Language barrier. Yes, ma'am. Any other? 2 more?
When there is no
Hesitation,
receiver and no
shy.
sender.
Okay, when there is no, very good answer, sir. Can you just explain a situation when there is no receiver, no sender? Like, do you come across such a situation in life? You want to say silence?
It is a case where there are people who are present.
Mm-hmm.
It is a situation like sometimes it's an awkward situation where people try to avoid speaking and people find it difficult to speak, like a situation where some untoward incident has happened and it has made people a little quiet.
Basically, you
Good.
want to say that a funeral, when we are at a funeral.
Yes,
Good.
or
Situation
similar
where
other situation.
people not in a mood to talk, or people think that it's not an appropriate situation
Yes,
to
yes,
communicate.
yes.
Good. And last one more you can give. Anybody?
Symbol. When
Yes, sir?
there is any symbol, color, so one can understand that this color want to say, like red color for danger, and
Mhm.
without communication one can understand that in next situation there may any danger for him or her.
Good. So you want to say that when the color is there, that also communicates, like symbol, green signal, red signal, when to go,
Yes.
interpret, when to know. Fine. So my question was like, can we think of a situation where communication is not happening? And very good responses I have got. I'll just go through one by one. So somebody says meditation. When you meditate, this is the one activity where communication happens a lot. You try to, meditation means connection, connecting the heart with those with that body, the soul with the body. You try to connect with the universe, you try to communicate with the universe. Do you think that when you meditate, it does not happen? When you communicate, you try to establish a connection. So when you meditate, you try to connect with the universe, you try to connect your soul with the body, kind of thing. Misunderstanding, somebody said. Let's say misunderstanding. When misunderstanding happens, for example, there's a misunderstanding between let's say me and you. I understand that there is a misunderstanding, that is also communication. You said something, understood something else. So a misunderstood it was misunderstood, the message was misunderstood. So you have this idea that there is a misunderstanding. Somebody said like language barrier. I'm sure that you must you must be in some of the states in India where you do not know a particular language there, but you manage to survive. You manage to buy vegetables. I was in Andhra Pradesh for 10 years. I still today I do not know Telugu, but I survived there. Do you think how deaf and dumb communicate? Forget language barrier. Have you seen many movies? Have you seen movies where the hero does not know the language of heroine and heroine does not know the language of hero? They get married and they live happily. So what type of so language barrier? When there is a language barrier, do you want to say that you don't communicate? No, I don't agree with that. When there is a language barrier, you use your face, you gesture, you use signals, somehow. So communication, what I'm trying to say, it's not only the words when you speak and then communication happens. When there is a language,
और
yes,
फिर 11:30 से live है उसी क्लास में.
fine. So somebody said like noise when many people are talking. When many people are talking, somebody said trust. See, for example, you don't trust your colleague. Your colleague will get the message that you don't trust him or her. A very clear communication will go to the message will go to your colleague that you don't trust. Or trust your colleague. Do you tell your colleague that you don't trust him? No, he gets it. He gets the message. When there is no trust, there is a communication also, and the communication tells both of them that there is no trust. Even in funeral, there is a kind of understanding that it's not the right time to communicate, and there is a communication, understanding between among the people there that okay, this is not the right time to communicate, and even there is a silence. Silence does communicate there is a sentence. For example, when there is a silence, for example, I ask you a question and there is a silence in the class, there is no response. It tells me too many things. It tells me that maybe you do not know the answer, or it tells me that you know the answer, but you don't want to share it, or maybe you know the answer, but you are waiting for others to speak first. So when there is silence, and the silence tells us that in the funeral, or this is not the right time, appropriate time to make noise, to communicate, but because this is unethical. So that is also there is also a kind of a communication. The point I'm trying to make here is that, and you will agree with me, if you don't agree, we can have a detailed discussion on that. If you look around, there are hardly any situation where communication is not happening, and because of that it's very difficult. Otherwise communication will become very easy. It's not only the words. When you say the words, communication is happening. It's also when you don't say anything, and your friend will understand, your roommate will understand, or your wife or husband will understand that something is wrong with you today because you are silent. When there is no trust, the two people will understand that there is no trust in the relation. Let's finish it. When there is a misunderstanding, the misunderstanding is also type of miscommunication, is also type of communication, misunderstanding also. So as somebody rightly said, that the color also communicates. For example, when you are in the traffic, when red signal is there, you know that you have to stop. When green signal is there, for example, when somebody wears a kind of a dress, and you say that the color indicates something, the color is not good, it's kind of not auspicious, it's not good. So the point is, there are hardly, in some classes, somebody said, somebody is sleeping, sir. When somebody is sleeping, there is no communication. Now when somebody is sleeping, the person when sleeping might not be able to communicate with you, but maybe a lot of things are happening. He might be dreaming. A lot of things are happening inside. Or maybe how do you know that the person is sleeping? Maybe the position of the body in the bed, or maybe he's snoring or she's snoring. Maybe some kind of signal, some kind of message you get that okay, he's sleeping, he's not kind of so he's not telling you, but maybe his body kind of even somebody is dead, that somebody is dead. The lack of movement in the body, the lack of the kind of static body, the tells you that somebody is dead. Now the point here is, if you look around, there are hardly any situation when communication is not happening, and which is why it's not very easy. And we will see, so we have to understand this. If this knowledge will help us to communicate better, that it's not only when we speak and there are words, we communicate. Let's move to if you can see that, now we should be able to differentiate in our day-to-day life when we communicate, or maybe not in day-to-day life. Some of you, I think most of you are teachers. All of us are teachers, and this knowledge is not for only those who teach English or communication. It's very important, because these days we don't teach, we communicate in the class. So we have to understand the difference, or we should be able to differentiate between the communication when somebody wants to communicate, as opposed to the communication when somebody does not want to or does not intend to communicate, but manages to communicate. I repeat, this is very important. And the two terms are like overt communication and covert communication, as you can see them on the slide. Now, what is overt? Overt is explicit, overt is implicit, or maybe in simple terms, like one is intentional, overt is intentional communication, covert is unintentional communication. The point is, we should be able to differentiate between the communication when somebody intend to communicate, as opposed to the one when somebody does not intend to, some does not want to, but he or she manages to. For example, you are angry, you don't want to show it, but it gets reflected on your face. Now this is unintentional. You are angry, you do not want to show it to your colleague, to your higher authority, to your to your husband or wife, but it gets reflected on your face. People will ask you, kya baat hai? What's the matter? Why are you angry? What is the problem there? You are not saying something, but it gets reflected. So these two terms, like what happens, we are not students, so that we have to remember the technical terms, but we should understand that there are two types of situations where it's not only way we want to communicate and we manage to know. Sometimes we don't intend to, but we manage to, and most of the times in life it happens, which is why misunderstanding happens, which is why miscommunication is there. You say that, no, I didn't want to say that, you must misunderstood me, or I didn't mean that, you say all these things. So this we have to be aware of that, and this is important in our day-to-day life. This is not important only in academics, only in formal situations. If you look at the area of entertainment, there also the covert communication I'm talking about, unintentional. So the area of entertainment, you see Sherlock Holmes, or maybe that novels, there are murder mystery movies. You see there, what happens, for example, murder mystery movie or suspense movie is an example of covert communication, unintentional communication, or maybe a communication where somebody does not intend to, but he or she manages to. For example, if you see a murder mystery movie, the murderer in the beginning, when he commits the murder, he does not intend to communicate something. He does not want to leave any evidence, but maybe with the hair, maybe fingerprint, something, with the help of so what happens, the communication is established. Era's lines are established, the communication is established, and you see that at the end of the movie, the detective, or maybe uh, will be able to tell you who murdered it, how happened, all these things. So even in the area of entertainment, covert communication plays a very important role. So we have to be aware of that when in our day-to-day life, whether it's formal situation, academics, or where we don't intend to, but we manage to. So if we are aware of that, when we communicate, we can control that factors which determine a good communication or bad communication. Now, what communicates? Very simple question. What do you think? What communicates? Give me quickly a list of 3-4 things. Are we together? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
what
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For example, words, when you say a few words, a message goes. So words communicate. Can you give me, what do you think, what else can communicate?
Body.
Body, very good. Body communicate.
Sir, illustration as a visual language. Graphics
Illustration,
and
very good.
illustrations.
Very good, ma'am. Graphics. Images, you want to say visuals? Yes. Anything else?
Gestures.
Gestures, very good.
Signs and symbols.
Symbols, very good.
Expressions.
Facial expression.
Facial expression.
Body language.
Body language. Yeah, somebody said body and somebody saying body language. These two are different. Very good.
So may I?
Yes, please, ma'am. Please go
So
ahead.
different form of different arts also can communicate.
Form of arts. Very good.
Yes, yes.
Can you, ma'am, just elaborate what do you mean by that? Like form of arts when you say? Can you?
Different forms of dance, maybe pottery, sculptures, paintings also
Very good.
communicate.
Very good. Like there is different forms of dance, portray a different kind. A particular kind of culture. You know that this is Kathak, this is this one. So that communicates. Very good. So what I want you.
Different mudras.
Different mudras. Very good.
Sir, everything communicates, I think.
Very good, ma'am.
Sir,
So
even
what?
the setup of a room or
Yes.
hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes.
setup of a room that defines whether it is a study room or it is an office
Yes.
or it is a living room.
Yes. Yes. You get into a room and you say that, oh, the room is not good, or maybe the room is very luxurious, or room is maybe
Yeah,
this is.
it talks about the character of the room or
Or
for
you.
what purpose it has been intended.
Yes, yes. And you take a visitor to your home today, and you don't introduce what purpose, for what purpose, what room you have decided, and the person will look at the room and tell you that is this the study room, is this your bedroom, is this all this. So what I want you to do is, do not stick to the list of things which have been given in the book, or do not ask your students to go through the book and maybe memorize kind of thing. Anything can communicate. We have to understand it, which is why communication is difficult, which is why we need to improve it, the way we communicate. We need to improve the way we speak, we need to improve the way we write. So it's like because anything can communicate, which is why communication is not only the words. Sometimes you are saying something and your words are not matching with your eyes, because your eyes are also communicating that time. Maybe the context is not proper, maybe the place is not proper. So we have to keep all these things in mind. So body, as somebody said rightly, the first one, the body communicates. You look at somebody and say that, okay, maybe you are spending a lot of time in gym, maybe he is very lazy, he is obese. So looking at the person, you can say that what kind of lot of communication, just looking at the person will, this activity will tell you that a lot of things. Action communicates. Even non-action communicates. For example, you in the class, one student is disturbing others. He's like creating problems. So that communicates. That tells you that maybe there is a problem with this student, or this student is not disciplined, or or even he does not do anything. You ask students with, and 81 of them submit and one does not submit. Even the non-action on the student part will tell you that maybe he is not sincere, or maybe his words communicate. Silence also communicates. As I told you that if you ask somebody something and there is a silence, he does not respond, it tells you too many things. Dress, somebody said dress communicates. You look at a person, for example, let's say that in a college you have students from Kerala, Andhra, all these states. So you see sometimes by looking at the dress the person is wearing, you can say that, okay, are you from Kerala? Maybe a different culture, a different kind of festival. You say that today some kind of festival is there. So on the particular festival, a particular kind of dress people put on. Or maybe you say that, is that your birthday today? Because you know that kind of, or somebody. So you in funeral, what kind of is preferred, or maybe for that on the day of wedding, the dulha will put on a particular kind of dress. So if you put on today and go in the market, many people will ask you, is it your wedding today? Because you know that the particular kind of dress is for a particular kind of purpose. Images, things, symbols, as you have said, forms of arts, signals, illustrations, graphics, all these things. Graphics, graphs, all these things communicate. That's why in the syllabus of BTech, you have a graph description, the data description, all these things. What else means too many? You have already made a list.
So like nature itself communicates a lot. So that is also a very big,
Yes, ma'am.
very broad example of
Yeah, nature
communicating
itself
things.
communicates, very good. Nature tells you too many things. Nature tells you that this is the right time, to bring coats and sweaters from the bag, so you bring, and then too many things. Nature, something is wrong with the nature, something is good with the nature. You understand that you are doing something wrong with the nature because nature responds to that. For example, environmental pollution. For example, the kind of things we have been creating, the human beings, disturbing the nature. So the nature sometimes responds to that, in the form of earthquake, in the form of,
Global warming.
global warming, all these things. So nature communicates. Now, madam, and sir, what the point I have been trying to establish here is that communication is not simple. Now, why? It's because of these many things what we have discussed. And in one slide, if I want to put them, there are multiple channels of communication. All of you know that. For example, as you said that when you are speaking, the body language is also there. Your eyes are also speaking, and then the words are there. So when you are telling a lie, the listener will tell you that no, your eyes are not matching with the words you are saying. Or I think by looking at your face, the person will understand that you are telling a lie. It means, what I'm trying to say is, there are multiple channels. When we communicate, we use more than one channel at a time, and sometimes they go hand in hand. When you are speaking, like, your eyes and words will match, but sometimes they are contradictory to each other. They are not like, they do not go hand in hand, and this is why miscommunication happens. This is why misunderstanding. This is why communication is not simple. So for example, let's say that you are saying very heartbreaking words. You are saying harsh words, but there is a smile on your face. So you are using two channels there, your facial expression and the words you are saying. So you are saying very pinpointed words, but you are smiling. So it's not matching. Now communication becomes very difficult for the person who is listening to you. He or she is not able to understand whether you are happy with the person, or what do you want to say, and you understand it as much I understand, because we all are working in a kind of, so, or sometimes let's say that you are saying very nice words, very pleasant words, but you look harsh, your face is like that, so we are using two channels, and they are contradictory to each other. So which is why this is one of the reasons it is difficult. Choice of the channel is also important. For example, your student wants leave because he is going to attend his brother's wedding. Now, if he comes to your office and tells you that, madam, I want to, I want leave. No, this is the choice of channel is wrong there. He should write an application for leave and then submit it properly. So that sometimes, or most of the times, because of the choice of the channel, the communication does not happen, or properly, or maybe there is a kind of miscommunication. I'll tell you a joke. Maybe I like it. This one. So what happens? Like, there was a fight between husband and wife. So then they had a lot of ego. So they decided not to talk to each other. They said that no, enough is enough. Now we are not going to talk. But how long can they continue? Most of us are, are married. We know that we cannot continue for a long time. So they couldn't continue for a long time. But because they had a lot of ego, they decided that they would use cheats. Means they would write, and what happens, the problem was there when husband wanted hot water, when husband wanted food on time, he was not getting because he was not talking to his wife. Or maybe when wife wanted to go for shopping or something, so there was a problem. So to like there was that, okay, we will write and give it to each other, but we are not going to talk. And, no compromise there. So they were exchanging chits, the written channel. And what happened a day, like husband had to go to office early in the morning, and he wrote on the chit and gave it to wife that tomorrow, please, wake me up at 5 o'clock because I have to go to office. I have an important meeting. And when he got up next day, like it was already 8 o'clock, he got furious. He was very angry. But then he looked at him. There was a chit near the pillow that 5 baj gaye ud jao kind of thing. So the point I'm trying to make here is that, see the choice of the channel. There, the demand was like somebody has to wake you up, and it required a different channel. It required the words, some kind of push. But there, you are writing something. So what we are discussing is why communication is not simple. Why is it difficult? And one of the reasons is when we use more than one channel, and we use more than one channel at a time when we communicate. Sometimes they are complementary kind of thing, but most of the times they are contradictory. They do not go hand in hand. And this is another reason is ambiguity. Ambiguity, all of us know. But for example, can you just read these 3 lines from a poem? Haiku, and you know what haiku is. Can you just tell me what you understand by the poem? Are you able to see that? Snow in my shoe,
Yes, sir.
abandon, sparrow's nest.
A certain kind of personification has been done. Some, one element of the nature has been compared with some other element to highlight certain kind of value in it.
Yeah, I can surely say that you are a teacher. Are you a teacher?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so a teacher can say like that. But when a common person looks at this, what message does he get? He will get some kind of literal, meaning, like snow in my shoe, abandoned, sparrow nest. Like, the snow is like that. It's like it looks like abandoned sparrow nest. But the problem is that very clear. You know what context it is. So that's why it's difficult to say the meaning, or what, it's not very clear because ambiguity is there. So this is called ambiguity. We are discussing why communication is difficult. One is the channels part, second is ambiguity. What we write, what we speak, we have to make sure that there is no ambiguity. And sometimes because of ambiguity, we do not understand what the person is trying to convey. And the third is interpretation. And this is very common. This is very known. When interpretation is there, misinterpretation is also there. You say that, no, I didn't mean that, because the person has, misinterpreted what you have said. So what it means is, like, when you say something, let's say when you communicate a particular message, sometimes it depends on the listener more, how he interprets it. What is he or she will catch, or maybe will emphasis more on certain phrases or certain part of the message, and will misunderstand, or misinterpret. For example, you must there is a kind of the story in Indian kind of ancient kind of history, the 6 blind men and the elephant. You must have heard it. So what happens there? 6 blind men wanted to know or describe how an elephant looked like. So they like depending on the part of the body they were touching, they were saying that, like, somebody maybe touched that leg of the elephant and it's like a tree. Somebody touched the tusk, it's like a snake. Or maybe the man body, the outer the wall, it's like saucer or roof. Now the point I'm trying to make here is that depending on the part of the body they were touching, they thought that maybe an elephant looked like this. So what happens, sometimes when you communicate a message, it's not your fault, it's up to the listener. Sometimes depending on what part of your message, how he or she takes it, and it is misinterpreted. So the three things, as I said, multiple channels of communication, ambiguity, and interpretation. As teachers, uh, and also as not if teachers are not there in the as participants in day-to-day communication, when you communicate, in order to have an effective communication, in order to have a successful communication, we have to understand that these are the things why communication is not easy, and when we are aware of that, we have some kind of control over these factors. And we have already discussed the channels of communication. Like there are words, word is one channel. Like you either write it or speak it. Can you tell me another channel? What do you understand by channel of communication?
Like it can be a verbal communication, non-verbal, or visual communication, and the different tools which has been involved for that communication.
Very good. So you want to say that like verbal communication maybe includes words either in written or spoken, non-verbal, the gestures, all these things. Or as you have rightly said, mode. Let me tell you the channel we are using right now to communicate. I'm trying to communicate something with you all. And you also tried to communicate. You are also trying to communicate something with me so this channel like Microsoft Team, this is also a channel of communication. Some people are using Zoom, some people are using Google Meet. So these are also the channels. So what happens sometimes, our students look at the list of channels and they memorize it, and finally in the exam they write it, but understanding is more important. So channels can be any, whatever you can use to communicate something. And if you think you can use an object, you can use anything to communicate, that becomes a channel. So this is also a channel. Like words can be spoken, written, non-words also are channels. Like sound, for example, when I was you are presenting something, there is a lot of sound. You understand that somebody maybe has not muted the the microphone, or maybe, so you understand, so sound is also kind of a lot of disturbance. You understand that maybe it's not being managed well, or it's being managed well when there is no disturbance in the class. So it gives you some kind of color, as somebody has rightly said in the beginning, that color also communicates. A particular color you do not wear on a kind of do not like to put on a particular day. You think that maybe this is not auspicious on a particular day, or this is good, this is not good, with the traffic signals, all these things, light, images, object, signal, sign language, body, all these things we have discussed. This is it becoming too heavy? Like this is a part of theoretical part. I'm just trying to make it a bit simple. So when you don't understand, you ask me, and there is nothing something like nothing like we don't understand it. You already have gone through all these terms. My objective here is only to make sure that all of us understand it, and while communicating we keep them in mind. And so for example, when we talk about forms of communication, like that verbal communication is there, oral and written. Verbal can be oral or written. You text a message on WhatsApp, or you text a message, you write, that is also verbal, and oral also. Non-verbal, the kind of now understand that because we have non-verbal communication, and non-verbal communication is more important in our day-to-day life, because we manage to communicate non-verbally several times. As I told you that you go back to your home and you do not say anything. You just so people will understand that today there is something wrong with you, or maybe you are gone crazy today. So it's like non-verbal. Maybe you don't want to say something, but it gets reflected on your face. So all these things. So communication involves This and non-verbal is more important when we communicate. In order to have an effective communication, we have to keep this in mind, that this is like, if somebody said meditation, when I was asking a situation where one does not communicate. So meditation is kind of intrapersonal communication. Is we ask our students to improve their interpersonal. The second one, interpersonal communication, is a communication, or between two person or two groups or two organizations. Generally we try to improve our interpersonal communication. Intra is like, within, communication within, and I am sure that you know this, as you are teachers. These are the things which are already there in the book, which are already there on internet. But why are we discussing here? Why have I put them on slides? It's because let's not stick to the list of books in the book. Generally, what my students do is, when I ask them to write barriers of communication, out of 100, 80 students will write the same barrier, because they will look at a particular book, or maybe they will type in Google. And no, we have to understand that anything that obstructs communication is a barrier. Anything that hampers communication is a barrier. For example, you are presenting something and there is a kind of noise in the classroom, that is a barrier. I am presenting something using Microsoft Team channel, and I have, let's say, poor network connectivity. That also becomes a barrier. So anything which hampers communication is a barrier. Now they can be internal and they can be external, that we have to understand. Now generally, our students prefer to write the internal ones, like noise, interference, lack of proper planning. When you go to the class and you are not planned, you have not planned your class, then what happens, like, the communication becomes poor. You are not able to communicate that much you wanted to, which is why in some of the classes our students understand 80%, some of the classes, let's say, 50%, some of the classes, maybe 10%, some of the classes they do not understand anything. So is due to internal, external. I'm not saying that only because of that. In order to have effective communication, there are other things also. If you are pronouncing properly, if your accent is good, if you are using proper intonation, if you're using rhythm, if there's a rhythm in the language, it's not monotonous. There are many things which make a communication good, and which makes it intelligible. I'm not saying that only these things are there. But for example, if you are not using proper accent, if you are not having a kind of proper intonation in your speech, there is no rhythm in the kind of when you speak. If you are not pronouncing words, because of wrong pronunciation, there is a misunderstanding, there is a miscommunication, that we can discuss it a little later. So I'm not saying that because of this only there is a miscommunication, misunderstanding, but this also causes that, and we have to keep that in mind. With the word, that is something. So we have concluded this. Now we are coming to the most important part, is to the discussion. I will give you a lot of time. If you have doubt, you can ask me. Before that, as I said, that we were discussing communication, and this is not only because of this is difficult. What we have discussed, as I said, accent, intonation, all these things are there. And you tell me why you think, and when you face these problems, what are the problems there? Why you think that communication becomes difficult? Let's add to the discussion, and then we'll get back to the doubts. And we can have a discussion in between that will include that. Let me repeat my question. Let us know what are the reasons so that your communication is becomes difficult. You must have faced a lot of things, because you are a teacher, or maybe you are a student, and sometimes you are not able to understand, or sometimes you are not able to communicate. So yeah, that's what I will not put on slides, because that is something we cannot that involves a lot of discussion. So yes.
Because of lack of confidence.
Yeah, lack of confidence. So that is like something you are talking about external barrier. As I have put on slide, like that is also kind of barrier. I didn't discuss the internal one. Internal barrier. Did you understand in that way? What are internal barriers? Like dogma, belief. Those are internal barriers. Like maybe somebody is hungry. Somebody missed the breakfast today, and comes to your class. No matter who you are has missed his breakfast today, he will not internal barrier. Dogma is a belief. Uh, if somebody feels that maybe he can learn better from a male teacher, he can learn better from a female teacher. So if something, so that also becomes a barrier. Somebody feels that no, 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 I don't have to learn it. I don't need to learn English. I know enough. So that also becomes barrier. For example, I did not learn Telugu in 10 years because I thought that okay, I don't have to because there I could manage with English and other things. So I didn't learn it. Those things are internal barriers. Now I'm getting back to the question. Somebody said
So
lack of
certain
confidence.
kind of stigma or orthodox belief is also a kind of barrier.
Yes. So what kind of barrier do you think that is, internal or external?
It will be very contextual and it will be very contextual that to what subject we are applying, but usually it will be more like an internal barrier because what belief, what thought process we are having in that context, that is going to define the nature of the barrier.
Good. Okay. Tell me, let me rephrase my question. Tell me why misunderstanding happens? Why miscommunication? Why is it that there is a misunderstanding when we communicate? We say something and the person, listeners understand something else.
Because our prior assumptions create a lot of barrier, and that molds our understanding. What the other person is saying is being added to what we are assuming, so that gives a different output.
Yeah, predetermined notion somebody is having, that affects communication. Somebody is having some kind of, pre-decided notion and feeling. So that affects what communication means. He will not or she will not understand what we are trying to say, what you are trying to communicate. Uh, uh, Anything else you think that there is a misunderstanding? Because do you think that the predetermined notion, because of that misunderstanding happens? I don't think so. Misunderstanding, like you said.
Like even a person is saying something in a right with a right notion, but the other person can take it in a sarcastic way.
Okay.
The perceptual differences are the basic causes of this, I think so.
Okay. So all of us are very theoretical kind of teachers. In the class when you teach, what do you think? Like what is the problem there? Or in the day-to-day life when you say something and people understand something else, or there is not, we do not achieve the 100% communication there. We do not.
I personally feel that first there should be a proper vibe between the receiver and the sender, the one who is talking and the one who is listening. First, they have to connect themselves with each other. Like if they are new to each other, the communication will be like limited. If they know each other for some time, the communication will be like proper.
Repo kind of thing you're talking about between the audience and the presenter, or maybe the listener and the speaker. The vibe, the connection, good. In day-to-day stranger, and you must be meeting a lot. The person you don't know, the person is not known to you. What kind of vibe, like? So you initiate a discussion. So think about it, madam. What you have said is right. But for example, when you meet a stranger, so what do you mean? Like, is that applicable there? Like, do you think there is a kind of, you need to have a kind of, you initiate a discussion with a stranger several times. Okay, with with a stranger, what happens? Like expectations. Good.
I think, sir, for the communication to be effective, the feedback is also important.
Feedback from the listener.
Yeah, unless until there is a if I speak to someone, a message is given, the feedback the way the person gives your feedback will tell us whether it's an effective communication. And many a times, based on the leadership style, the communications differ based on the type of leadership qualities. Like if I have to listen to a principal, whatever it is, it's like you have to listen. That's it. Because sometimes, as per the leadership qualities, also the communication does differ. That's what is, in my opinion.
Good, madam. Good. Let's say that communication between me and you all, 118 participants in this kind of seminar or workshop. I am taking care of all these things. For assume that I am taking care of all these things, and there is a particular kind of rapport between the audience and the speaker. So whatever you have said, we can take care of all these things. Then what are the other things which make it difficult? I say something and you are not able to understand. You are not able to get the message. You think that something is wrong, like with the speaker. What as teachers, our students also feel, we think that we have taught everything done, but if we ask the students, so
So connectivity issue might be a barrier, like if we have missed certain part of the communication because of certain connectivity issue, and again when we have joined again, then it can be a barrier.
fine. Okay, what do you think? How much pronunciation and the way of speaking, all these things play a role? What does it? What is more important in order to have effective communication? The having a rapport, having whatever you all have said, and maybe the way of speaking, the pronunciation, how the person is pronouncing things, the kind of the accent the person is having. Does it affect communication? What is more important? The that part we have discussed, and this part. What do you think plays a more important role in communication?
Selection of
Points. Sorry. All these components are important, and the importance of each individual component will depend upon the audience to which we are addressing, to whom we are communicating. So the cultural context or the other things define the component, that which component will be uh, more suitable, or which component will be more important. Like for example, when a politician goes to different region of the country to address a certain thing, then they try to add certain regional terminology in their address. So that is a way, like, so that because they know that they are going in a certain region and how they can influence. So to whom we are talking, that matters a lot, and that defines that what component we have to highlight in our conversation.
Good. Very good point, valid point. That's why you see when Amit Shah or PM Modi, go to Bengal, they use Bengali. When they go to Bihar, they use Bhojpuri. When they go to Orissa, they do not know all these languages, but they, in the beginning, at least one or two sentences they will say just to connect with the people. So what you are saying is connection. The rapport between the audience and the presenter is more important there, because just to establish a connection, it is then you can, when we go to the classroom, we before we start teaching, we try to establish a rapport by asking a few questions. We motivate the students towards the theme of the lesson. We try to bring their attention towards the theme of the lesson. As you said, politician, many people think that Lalu Yadav, from Bihar is the best communicator, because what happens, if you listen to his speech, he quickly connects with the audience. So that is more important kind of thing. Good. What do you mean by the way of, as you said, when you go to to the regional kind of that region varies, and they have a different kind of way of speaking. So what do you think, is that okay? For example, if you look at NPTEL lectures, if you listen to different NPTEL lectures, if the moment the person opens his or her mouth, you will understand where the person belongs to, whether he is a Bengali or Uriya, or he is a foreigner, not from India, not a he's a native speaker, or he is from North India, South India. You will understand. So what about that? When you talk about politician, so is that okay? For example, I'm just giving you an example. For example, let's say when I listen to people from Kolkata or Bengal, the NPTEL lectures, don't feel offended. I'm not generalizing it. I'm just giving examples. Like, so what happens? Like, they, let's say my wife is from Orissa. Let me give an example from my home. My wife is from Orissa, and what happens? The people in Orissa, not all, I'm not generalizing, so they have a problem with a particular set of sounds, for example, and all of us have people belonging to a particular region have or might have a problem with a particular set of sounds. So for example, my wife has a problem with sound so she says oh. So for example, when I was recently, like when I was married newly, like my wife used to ask me, launch kiye, launch आप किए launch. तो मैं सोचता था क्या launch मतलब rocket launch या book launch, लेकिन then I understood she was asking lunch, like lunch kiye. So lunch, launch, kind of. For example, the wa sound, she says, very, virus घुस गया है laptop में, or you see the NPTEL lectures, very, very important kind of thing. You understand that my person is from Orissa or Bengali. Like that, we North Indians, South Indians, when I was in Andhra, people have like, so what do you think? What role does it play in determining a good or bad communication? As teachers, I am asking you, and as teachers, you respond to that. Does it create misunderstanding, madam or sir? Do you think that it creates misunderstanding, or it affects communication?
Not to a certain level, because students are also from different part of the region, and especially of the qualification that accent. So they in a negative way, they try to focus more of the content as well as the confidence with which the content has been presented, the different ways through which the content has been effectively presented, rather than just focusing upon the pronunciation. Very few students might have issue with it, very few. Like I'll share one of my experience. In my graduation, I had a Bengali teacher. Initially, the certain terminology which he was using, it was difficult for us to understand, but gradually we all understood what he is trying to say. So initially for certain classes, it was a barrier, but later on it was not at all a barrier.
Yes. No, what happens in that case, the context helps. For example, you are trying to communicate a message in the classroom. The students know the context, like physics, chemistry, or whatever you are teaching. In the context, the even somebody is mispronouncing, somebody's accent is not good. The context, the listeners try to understand and excuse the speaker. Fine, but it does not happen. Context is always not there, and it's not everywhere. Sometimes it affects. Let me tell you that here in Manit, I am the warden of a hostel warden. So it happened yesterday that so what happens, we have a bus facility. We are mentoring IIIT Bhopal, and we have a bus facility. The bus takes the students to the hostel and then brings back to the classroom. So there was a change in bus timing. So one of the students, he had a problem. He came and he was asking, sir, actually my boss goes early, sir, so I have to go early. So then we were there. So like boss, we asked, like, who is your boss? They said, not boss, actually, sir, my boss. So what I'm saying is, I'm not making fun of the student. I'm just trying to bring this issue. This is our responsibility to make him aware, to help him. I'm just trying to bring this issue. What happens sometimes when the context is not there, you are initiating a discussion with a person who is not known to you. So he was just trying to say bus, but he was from a particular reason. So the us, because of that problem, the my boss. Most of the times in the classroom, most of the times in our day-to-day life, when we are not aware and when we are not good at that part, it also creates misunderstanding. So I just included this to the presentation. I didn't want to put it on the slide because this is not something we can theoretical part. So what happens, like, because of these things also we have to keep in mind that we have to control these factors also. This is what I wanted to say. If you have any doubts, if you want to ask, if you want to discuss any part, I have discussed already, what I have not discussed, or anything which you think that we can have a discussion here, you can ask.
So there are
Hello.
certain answers in the chat
Yes.
box as well.
Yes, ma'am.
There are certain answers from the participants in chat box as well, like interpersonal communication skills, lightness in communication, representation.
Sorry, ma'am. I just I couldn't get that.
Sir, chat box is there on your screen. Is it visible to you, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just
So
go.
participants are answering through this chat box mode also. That is what I was sharing with you. So
Yeah.
whenever you are raising a question, they are enthusiastically answers with this mode of communication. But no one is trying to maintain an eye contact through the by turning on videos, and that is also part of barrier, I think so.
Yeah, because this channel sometimes,
Yes.
I am not able to see that chat box. Like maybe there is a. So this is also a barrier, you understand, in this
Yes.
type of communication.
Yes.
I
So
compared.
participants are, excuse me, sir, may I interrupt?
Yes, ma'am, please.
So participants are requested whenever they interact with our eminent speakers, they please keep on their video.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If anyone has any query, so they are welcome.
I have like I'll share one document with the concerned person, and you, ma'am, please share with the participants there. So
Yes.
that I wanted to so I didn't want to like spend more time on that. So that is like to check how good communicators we are. That is a kind of self evaluation thing. So you can
Okay,
go
okay.
to the points and just tick and add some points, and by the end of that, you will understand how good communicators we are. And just this is not like getting marks or showing to others. This is for yourself. You can just please use that. I'll share it with the concerned person there.
Yes, yes.
I'll mail it to you, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, yes. If anyone asks some questions, so they are welcome. All the participants, if do you have any query?
You can ask. Please don't feel free. Use this opportunity. I may, if I know, I'll answer.
So can I ask one question?
Yes, please.
Sir, I just wanted to ask this question. Like we saw with your communication thing that there is a verbal communication, non-verbal communication. Somewhere in the text or in the context, I had read there is a. I mean, it was discussed also in our when you were discussing visual communication is also a new type of communication. So I was little bit of confused to put it in non-verbal. It will not come in verbal, but does visual communication is it a new communication or it comes under non-verbal only? Because as far as the text, I had read it somewhere in the books that it is introduced as a new type of communication. So is that true? Because I don't know, little bit of confusion there.
Yes, thank you for asking me the question. See, verbal communication is very clear. It includes words that can be written, that can be spoken. Now let's come to non-verbal. The visual communication, like you may include in non-verbal, but if it is said that it is a new communication, that is okay. But my suggestion is let's not get confused or stick to the technical terms. What happens these days? For example, you have professional communication, you have technical communication, you have corporate communication, you have business communication, you have this or that communication. What happens? These terms, are just there to. I don't know why. Sometimes I don't understand. Communication is communication. Fine, if you are teaching business communication, your focus is maybe you are teaching MBA or BBA students. The objective is different. The technical objective is different. But my suggestion is let's not get confused with too many technical or the words kind of thing. We have to understand visual communication you may include in the non-verbal. That is okay, no problem. That is a kind of non-verbal. But visual communication, I have also read somewhere that it's a kind of new communication, but it's also a non-verbal one.
Sir, can I share my view on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, maybe in books it might be written as it's a new form of communication, but as far as my understanding is concerned, it is one of the oldest mode of communication. Like if we look into the prehistoric period, then communication started from there in form of drawing, cave drawing, cave painting, and then from that later on different alphabets were derived, or later on different understanding of things derived. Even we took them as a reference till today, that what they are trying to convey. So from my opinion, it is one of the oldest mode of communication, and it cannot be separately created as a distinct form of communication. It may fall under verbal or non-verbal, because lot of element in the verbal has also been derived from that, and lot of element in non-verbal has also been derived from the visual communication. And even like certain things becomes a part of the visual communication. Like for example, visual communication talks about the different physical attribute of a product or of a person. So if we are talking about dress, if we are talking about style, so that becomes a part of it. So it depends upon like which part of it we are going to discuss. So depending on that, it will be either a verbal or a non-verbal communication. That was just my thoughts.
No, thank you for sharing your thoughts, and you have a valid point. I too believe that is kind of old wine, new bottle kind of thing, and it's not important. It's not necessary that we have to separate it like visual communication. Then there will be a new course on visual communication, some new books, some new kind. We also understand that what happens. New terms keep coming, but if you closely look at that, they are derived from somewhere, and then a new thing is designed just to attract customers, attract students, attract kind of thing. It's possible that in a few years you will see a book on visual communication, for example. So it doesn't mean that it's a kind of new communication. It was already there, and it's still there, and it will be there. We cannot separate it from communication kind of thing. For example, humanities, you have digital humanities. I just recently I saw a book on critical humanities, all these things. So what happens, these terms keep coming, but they all are derived from the old art tradition. It was already there, and I agree with you, madam, what you said. We don't have to separate it.
I have one query. Like,
Yes, please,
when
ma'am.
we talk about written communication, what is the role of written communication in research writing? Like in many of the books, it is written that simplicity should be there, it should be easily understandable. But many a time when we refer a research article published in good journals, we find that the language is very complex to understand. So what is being written in many of the books is found contrast to what is being presented in journals. So to what extent what we should follow in that context?
See, this is like as you said is right. And when we read something, whether it's a journal, whether it's a thesis, or it's a novel, anything. So it's all about written communication. It's not like how much role it plays. It plays the entire role. Written communication, if so what depends, it's very easy to write in menu that, and it's easy to write in the beginning, and it's easy to say in the classroom that when you write, it must be simple, it must be easy, it must be all these things are practical, theoretical part. These things are easy to say, but when it comes to applying those, applying the knowledge in like in practical way, so it becomes difficult. It's not easy, and we all have to understand that writing is the most. I believe writing is the most difficult skill, because when you speak you can say sorry, you can edit, you can go back, you can rephrase all these things. But writing, when somebody is reading, the writer is not sitting in front of him or her. The absence of writer is there, but the presence of writer will be in that text. It seems like maybe if so, it's all about written communication, and it's easy to say, but when it comes to application, it becomes difficult. It's not like it's not possible, it's difficult, which is why somebody writes good, somebody writes better, somebody writes very good. You understand everything. So it's not because it's not possible, it's up to the proficiency in writing of the writer. It depends. Did you get the answer, madam? Like,
yes, sir.
Writing is like, the writer is not there, so it's all about written communication. It has to be simple, but it's not easy. It's up to the proficiency level of writer. Sometimes you read something and you don't understand, and the same message, the same thing, if you read in another book or maybe somewhere else, you will understand something. So it's all about writing skill, the written communication, and written communication plays a major role. In practical way, when your students submit an application to you for leave, sometimes you accept, sometimes you reject. It's also based on how somebody has written the application. Maybe the tone of writing. The same message somebody writes in a different way, somebody writes in a polite way, the tone is polite, the presentation is good. So it depends on that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Got the answer, sir. Thank you, sir.
Madam, there is a psychologist, Lenik Ehrenberg. You must have heard the person. He says that when a person, like when somebody is born, he or she naturally learns how to walk and talk, right? But writing is like something somebody has to be trained. Writing is something, it's not natural. It's like swimming. You learn swimming only when you have opportunities, when you have a water pond available. If you try it. So similarly, writing, he says that writing, if you have opportunities to write, show it to somebody, get feedback on your writing, and then improve it. This is, so if you have a proper training, only then you can improve. Naturally, a baby or child can learn how to walk and talk, but writing is like swimming. It needs proper training. It needs only then. Otherwise, saying is very easy. When we go to the class, we say that writing, you have to be simple in writing, you have to be clear, all these things. What is clear in writing? When you understand, when you write it, you write a book, you write something, you understand that saying something is easy. So it's all about the written communication is all about the proficiency level of the writer in writing. Fine. Anything else?
Yes. Anyone asked some question? Yes. Anyone can ask. is open forum.
Please use this opportunity. I also learned a lot from you all. Like, you know, this is how
Yes,
we
sir.
learn.
Sir, I would like to add a little to this.
Yes,
Yes, madam. Please keep on your video.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk, sir. One
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
barrier now we find in communication is when the
Yes.
hosting department asks us to switch on the video, where it restricts us from communicating. It may be the situation at the place where, or the situation because we are working from home. So I think this is a new barrier nowadays.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. This becomes a barrier, but we have to understand the reason why the hosting department said it. What happens?
No, I
personally,
really understand, sir. But the reason why I took
Yeah.
this point is even in
Yes, yes.
classrooms, because as a teachers, when we are teaching in classrooms, when we ask the students to come, we ask them the question, or when we ask them to communicate and switch on the video, the first thing I find is they're leaving the room. So maybe, at least I'm not doing that, but I'm not in a situation where I can switch on my video. But I would really love to communicate. So this became a barrier for me.
Yeah, I personally like to talk to a person while looking at the person. You know, I understand better. When I talk to a person, I look into the person's eyes, and then you know, I just see whether the person. So generally, when you are listening to somebody, when you are looking at the person's face, you know, it helps a bit in understanding. But this becomes a barrier, and I have also organized a few talks, and you know, I understand the problem you have said. Thank you.
Yeah. So one more question to this, sir.
Yes.
What if the one of the basic barrier is lack of interest in a student? Because I'm talking from the perspective of a lecturer and a student relation. If lack of interest itself is a barrier of listening to lectures, how can we get through this type of?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. As a teacher, we should know this, and we should be able to answer this. What happens, like for example, some of you must have done B.Ed and teacher training programs, all these things. So we have been taught and trained, you know, in this with all these things. So we keep that in mind. We all keep that in mind. What happens, like what is more important in the class, we have to understand whether teaching or learning. So what happens, like we are teaching something we want to teach, or we are teaching something that they want to learn. We have to understand it. If they find something which is useful, they can apply it in their day-to-day life, or work something, you know, they understand that, okay, this is interesting. You will see that in some of the classes they will listen to you very carefully. They will be very patient, and they will not, some of the classes they will switch off, they will not. So the reason is, which is why when I go to the class, before I teach them, I tell them why I am going to teach them, where they will use that knowledge. If they do not know this, what will happen? How will that hamper their performance in speaking and writing, and what kind of problems they will be facing, in kind of thing. So, and before they also learn in the classroom, they ask themselves this question, that why they should learn that, whether that is useful, where will they use the knowledge. Even one reason, if they find that that is useful for exam purpose, and the teacher is going to ask these questions in exam, they will be very attentive. So that might be one of the reasons, if not applicable in day-to-day life, if not you know, for that purpose. Let's say if the motivation is not, the lack of interest is not there, but if they know that this is useful, important in exam, they will be very attentive to you. So my answer is, like you know, what is more important, we have to understand. So the syllabus you have, or you are having, or we are having, whether the syllabus includes a few things which the students can't relate to, or they don't find useful, we have to, like you know, we have to design a syllabus which caters to the needs of the, which is why we have needs based syllabus these days. You know, we try to address to their needs, kind of thing. Otherwise teaching is over, but they don't know, they don't understand. Anyway, it's 1:14. I would like to share a joke. I like jokes in my class also. I crack a lot of jokes, and just this is just to create their interest. As you have asked a question, are we together? Can you hear me? Like, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this jokes also just to create the interest, to bring back to the classroom. Maybe here there are some participants. They're also like students. Sometimes they may switch off. They may find that okay, what the teacher is talking, maybe this slide is not important, this part is not. So we have to relate things. We have to make them aware that this is important and kind of thing. I had read it somewhere. You might have read it also. So what happens once a teacher in a classroom, like in a course like spoken English course kind of thing, the last day of the class he was very happy, and he said that fine, now I have completed everything. I have taught you everything. Tomorrow is the kind of we are going to have a farewell kind of thing. So you bring your parents so that they will be very happy to see what I have taught. So you will perform on the stage, you will display, or you will kind of project what you have learned, and your parents, your teachers, whatever, your family members will enjoy, and they will see what I have taught you. So one of the students sitting in the class, sitting back, he just raised his hand and he asked politely, "Sir, can I bring my dog to the classroom?" And the teacher said, "What nonsense! What is the point of bringing dog to the classroom tomorrow? You bring your parents." He said, no, sir, please allow me to bring my dog." He said, "No, you cannot bring your dog. You can bring your friends, girlfriends, anybody, but don't bring dog, because they will see how you perform and what I have taught you." He was repeating. But the student requested, and he insisted that please allow me to bring my dog to the class, because my dog is different. I have taught my dog, how to whistle. He is not an ordinary dog kind of thing. And finally, unwillingly, somewhere, the teacher allowed him to bring the dog. He said, "Fine, you bring it, but make sure that does not disturb the program." And the next day on the program is going, the students are going and performing on the stage. And the dog is very cute one, sitting on the bench, not disturbing anybody, fine. Then the teacher asked the student, "Okay, now ask your dog to whistle." He said, "No, my dog cannot whistle." And the teacher got angry. He said that yesterday you told me that your dog could whistle. He said, no. I said I taught my dog how to whistle, but he did not learn it. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that this is a kind of academic kind of joke. He wanted to say that you taught me everything, but did you ensure that whether I learned it, maybe I found it useful, all these things, whether I was interested? So as you asked, lack of interest. We teachers have to see, they are there in your classroom, madam. They have joined a course, they are paying you money. If we cannot say that, so we have to take care whether we have to see the syllabus, whether it includes interesting topics which they are useful in day-to-day life, which they can relate to. We have to take care of our teaching. Sometimes it's possible that maybe students are like that, but not many. Did I answer your question? I think I went lengthy. Fine, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am. Okay, then.
Yes. Anyone has any query? So, sir has explained everything on the soft skills and communication, and I think all queries have been solved. So, sir, may I conclude?
No, ma'am. Before you conclude, I want to say something.
Yes,
I want to thank all the participants for being present and for listening to me. And I want to tell them that I enjoyed interacting with them, because the type of responses they gave, it was very interactive. Generally, the Microsoft Team class is not interactive. We ask a question and the students are not there, or the participants kind of thing. So I want to thank you all for the responses, for making it interactive, and for your interest. I really enjoyed interacting with you, and I hope that in future as well, we meet sometime. We have some more interaction. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was such a wonderful session, and thank you so much again for sharing your valuable information on soft skills and communications. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you all the participants for interacting. We will begin our next session at 2 p.m. You can resume at 2 p.m. for third session of this day. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And thank you all the participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Yes. And one more thing, Rupali ma'am.
Okay. Soumya Shri ma'am, are you there? See, whenever we are requesting you, all the participants, to turn on your videos, in case if you can handle the situation in that position, if you are. So, again, I would like to request you have to. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. Thank you so much.